Baby boomer, start closing of your bucket list. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, our society is becoming more and more on tap and at a fast pace. Now, we don't have to be nervous in front of a crowd or get stage fright as it's become convenient to hold sessions online. We are no longer constrained to a limited audience who actually showed up to the confined lecture hall. My message can be delivered online limitlessly, as long as it's entertaining or informative, of course. Hello everyone, I am Yoon-Gyu Choi, a Korean baby boomer. I worked at the Korea Trade Agency for 30 years as an ordinary office worker before I retired in 2020. And I am now working as a consultant and lecturer of life design. Today, I want to remind baby boomers the importance of spending the remaining part of your life doing what you want and doing what you like, whether it be work, hobbies, or relationships. And I want to share my thoughts using the keyword bucket list. In Korea, the baby boomer generation started in 1955, which is shortly after the Korean War ended. Compared to many countries, for example, the US, Europe, China, or Japan, the baby boomer generation started in the middle of 1940s, when World War II ended. So Korea's baby boom is about 10 years late. Also, many countries define the baby boomer generation differently. For example, Japan's Dankai generation starts in 1947 and ends for people born in 1949. Korea ends in 1963. The US goes till the mid-60s, and for China, it goes all the way to the early 70s. Currently, we are going through a time where the last baby boomers of Korea are retiring. The society and government are thinking of various ways we can re-socialize these baby boomers and may help them get re-employed, start a business, become a farmer, volunteer, and so on. The new phrase, new mid-age, refers to people in their 50s or 60s who try to live young, healthy, and happy. We call this active senior, in other words. The invention of such new phrase also shows that people our age are now actively and dynamically participating in our society. These neo-mid-age people aged 50 to 69 made up 27% of the population in 2017, and it's forecasted that will make up 33% of the population in 2026. 1 out of 3 people we pass by on the street will be neo-mid-age. This huge wave of baby boomers retiring is probably not something that's happening only in Korea. Many other countries may have already been there or going through it as we speak. We all need to take interest in how we can help baby boomers overcome this change and start Act 3 and Act 4 of their life, healthily and happily. When we talk about change management or life design for baby boomers, we consider 8 key factors: hobby, health, family, relationships, contribution to society, ego, work, and finance. Today, I will talk about only 3. First, stay healthy enough to enjoy the hobbies you like. Advising baby boomers over 60 to stay healthy may sound cliched, but if you have been to the Duomo Cathedral, or Giotto's Bell Tower of Florence, or the Louvre in Paris, or St. Petersburg Hermitage, you will understand how exhausting it can be if you don't have physical strength. In the summer of 2017, I came across my bucket list that I forgot about for years. What caught my eye was trekking the Himalayas. One part of me was doubtful. Can I do it? and another part of me felt urgent. I want to be able to do it when I'm older. That's when I decided to take on the challenge of trekking the Everest base camp. I was able to persuade two high school friends to join me. These two friends were running their own business and much busier than I was, but were able to keep up with weekend training sessions at Mountain Guan-Ap. 6 months later, in February 2018, I took 2 weeks off from work to go on my EBC journey. It's not easy for an office worker to take a 2-week vacation in Korea when it's not the holiday season. What made it harder was I was temporarily delegated to work for other institutions in local government at the time, so it was a very awkward situation. EBC trekking was so much difficult than I expected. By the time I was Kalapatra viewpoint, which has an elevation of 5,550 meters, I ran out of breath every 3 steps, so I frequently had to stop and take deep breaths before I could continue further. During the journey, I had to spend 5 nights at an altitude of over 4,000 meters. It was hard to sleep because I had a headache from lack of oxygen, and it was freezing. When I couldn't sleep, I would go outside and look at the night sky filled with the stars. It was an unforgettable sight. Looking back, especially at the time where traveling is limited because of the COVID pandemic, I came to think that pushing myself to go trekking at Everest might arguably be the best decision in my life. In Korea, there was a park or a small mountain with public fitness facilities, so you don't need an expensive gym membership to stay fit. As long as you have the will, anyone can go out and exercise. Even if it's not outdoor activities, you need strength to enjoy whatever type of hobby, whether it be playing golf or chess, playing musical instrument, painting, making floral arrangement, and so on. You need to find a way to stay healthy. Secondly, maintain good relationships with your spouse and friends. Of many relationships, the relationship with your spouse is especially important. Old, retired men who eat all 3 meals at home are called Sam-Sik-Ee in Korea. It basically means 3-mealer and is used negatively. I was also one of these Sam-Sik-Ees for a year after retirement. Spending a lot of time at home also meant more clashes and conflicts, big and small. My wife hates anything that sounds dangerous. She doesn't even ride roller coasters. So back when I was working in Sydney, Australia, and I went on Harbour Bridge climb, or more recently when I went to Lake Changpung to bungee jump at 58, I told her afterwards, if I told her before I went, she should have stopped me, or we would have been on a huge fight. If you really love and value your spouse, then you should not do what your spouse does not approve of. So I don't recommend this way of mine. Always love and care for your significant other, but more importantly, express your love as much as possible, because the person by your side at your deathbed will be your husband or wife. It shouldn't be difficult for our age to say I love you, right? To bungee jump, I was going to go to the one with 40 meters high leap of Yultong Park in Bundang, but it was banned for anyone over 50, according to their safety regulations. So I had to go to another bungee jump in Lake Changpung, where the safety rules were lax. This site had the highest jump height at 62 meters in all of Korea. Because I heard that you won't be able to jump when you look down, I tried intentionally not to look down. However, I was given a specific instruction to have a third of my feet protruding from the cliff. When I briefly looked down to do as told, I saw the bottom, and my hair stood up in fear. I was scared of a series of worst-case scenarios, the rope not being short enough, or snapping in the middle of the fall, and so on. When it went through my mind, I asked myself if I would be able to go home alive. After the jump, I began to see everyone in a new category, those who have made the jump and those who have not. This was an exhausting experience which I did not wish to live through again, just to cross off one item on my bucket list. For retired boomers, relationship with your friends is equally as important as your relationship with your spouse. In A Good Life, study by an American psychiatric doctor, Robert Waldinger. His team followed 724 Harvard graduates for 75 years and found that important factors to a happy and healthy life are social connections and good relationships. There may be groups of good friends for you. Whatever activity they are themed on, be part of a group, be with good friends, and try to meet them often. This is how you can make you and them happy. And while you are at it, try to be the life of the party, also known as a Hek-Inssa in Korea. This is a portmanteau of Hek, meaning nuclear or very large, and Inssa, meaning insider, as someone on the inside of a group. I am a regular in my hiking circle. I planned a weekly gathering and so became a Hek-Inssa amongst my hiking buddies. I do this because I love it, and in a way, it's a service to the community. Service for others doesn't just mean something grand and special. Thirdly, don't do a job. Do something that you enjoy. If earning money is possible while doing it, that would be better. Just 13% of workers surveyed are satisfied with their jobs. This means that about 87% of boomers have worked to support themselves and their family out of a sense of duty. This trend should not go on. Work should offer enjoyment and happiness. Linda Grattan wrote in a book, The Future of Work, if we lived till 80 and worked for 60, we must now expect to live till 100 and work for 80. There must be a balance between work and life, and work must be more than a means of subsistence. It should be also have meaning as a hobby, leisure, service, social activity, learning experience, and so on, as other things as well. To me, there are 3 jobs. The first one is, as mentioned, consulting and lecturing life design. The second job is legal secretary. Last one is art docent. We call the person to do many jobs enjamno in Korea. Being a life design consultant is my first gig. What drew me into this was that I could have my fellow boomers as my patron. That is why I am lecturing here and now. When I was young, I tried to pass the bar exam, but I couldn't. So I had to choose a different path in life. But I never gave up my passion to provide legal service. Coincidentally, my brother-in-law came to the legal practice. I was able to provide my services as a legal secretary at his practice, and my passion is kept alive. There are many boomers in Korea who like to read about liberal arts. Being one of them, I read Gombrich's The Story of Art and took up an interest in art. Whenever I visit world-famous art museum, in London, New York, Paris, Madrid, Florence, and so on. But I remember then that I had wished that I knew more about what was on exhibit. Maybe that was what motivated me to have interest in art. All three of these jobs don't make me a lot of money. I do it because I like it. I can do 7 more to make 10 of these jobs. So please do a job that makes you happy, not just another job. The baby boomer generation has been endowed with financial luck compared to other generations like X, Y, and Z. Spend what you have and enjoy life. You will spawn new industries and jobs that create goods and services that satisfy your needs. This is a way to help our children's generation. So please, boomers, enough with the rat race and make way for balance between work and life. Restore confidence and live your values. Direction is more important than speed. I have a bucket list too. It's just a scrap of paper with travel destinations. The first item on the list is a backpacking trip to South America with my wife. I'd like to see the Machu Picchu in Peru, Unisalt Desert in Bolivia, trekking Torres del Fine in Patagonia, see Iguas Falls and the melting Perito Moreno Glacier, and the Amazon rainforest. The Earth's long being ravaged. I'll think about climate change and what I can do for planet and the next generation. It'll be a tough 2 to 3 months journey, staying in backpackers' lounges, where young people stay, not be at luxurious accommodations. I'm not sure my wife will accompany with me. In the film Bucket List, Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman start their bucket list too late. You must begin closing up your bucket list now. Thank you.